my god, it's black.
Yeah. I'ma hang out with the misfits. Break bread with the peasants. Spend time with the loners. Raise hell up in heaven. Pick up with the dropouts. Get high with the have-nots. Stand up for the weak ones. Go to war with the standouts. I'ma get lit for the dark ones. I'ma get high for the dope fiends. I'ma get rich on you broke hoes.
YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to another video. CRX-Pert with you, and today we're going to do a total transformation of the CRV. We've got a lot of parts, and I'm going to show you what we have right now. I just got back from O'Reilly's. I picked up the tie rod tool and the ball joint press. So as you can imagine, we are going to do those. This right here is a full front end kit. Comes with upper and lower ball joints, upper control arms, inner and outer tie rods, etc. We've also got a new mirror, which is freaking awesome because I needed that. We have a $400 alarm system here, which comes with GPS location, remote start, all the good works. It also works off of a phone too, so heck yeah, that's pretty awesome. We've got Scar audio speakers for the front. We have a lip kit here off of a 05 to 07 Jeep Cherokee, which I hear works perfect. Over here in the big box, we have two brand new fenders, driver's side and passenger side. I bought those because these fenders are pretty much garbage. And these are like the worst looking parts on the car. And the previous owner rolled these and completely baconed them to the point where I can't even get the trim on this side. This one over here I was able to get the trim on, but it doesn't fit too flush because of it being so baconed. But this fender's really knocked up too. Once I get these fenders replaced, that'll really clean up the whole body. We also have the window visors in here, fronts and rears. And in this one here we have the rear differential mounting bushings and brackets and stuff, because mine's all kind of messed up. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this. I'm going to start with the front end because I want to get that done first. That's going to take the most time and the most effort and is going to be the dirtiest. So I just want to get that out of the way because I really need to get this thing aligned. Not that I'm going to be able to do too much because the camber's so far in, I'm guessing it's like -7, but you can kind of tell like how it sits. But I mean, as long as we could get the toe set, because right now my steering wheel is like over to the right, so I have to kind of hold it to the left, in order to keep it straight. And as soon as I let go of the steering wheel, it just yanks to the right. So I want to get that done, but I didn't want to get the alignment done until I have the whole front end already replaced, because it does have a little bit of a wobble, like when I'm first starting off from 0 miles to about 20, 25, 30 miles an hour or so, and then that goes away and it's completely smooth from there. So we're going to hop into it. I'm going to get this jacked up and I'm going to start tearing apart the passenger side first. That's the worst side. And we're going to start this. This is going to be a complete transformation. I'm super excited. Oh, one more thing. I think what I'm going to also be doing is I'm going to pull the flip out deck right here actually out of the CRX and put it into the CRV, because I'm also going to be doing a backup camera on this, and that deck is backup camera compatible, and the CRX doesn't really need anything flip up like that. I really don't even listen to music in this thing. I like the sound of the motor, and so basically I just have a stereo in this just to fill that spot. So I'm going to pull that one out, put it in that one, wire up all the stuff. I also have I went and bought these off of a guy off Marketplace. Nothing too special, but 210s, brand new box. We've got a 1200 watt Class D Jensen amp. This should be more than enough to give us a little bit of bass. It's also ported, so yeah, that should be really awesome. I did realize that in the back, the previous owner, all the way around in this vehicle, they put Sundown Audio 6.5-inch subs all the way through the vehicle, which they don't really sound that great because they're not powered by an amp. So I'm going to pull the two front ones out, and I think I'm going to keep the Sundowns in the back, probably split that amp off to push some power to the 6.5s back there. So I have two 6.5s in the backs with the 210s. This thing should rumble, especially with the Scar audios in the front. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I have no idea why I just took off the spacer. I was just in the mood, alright? I was in the mode. Just going. But we have everything off so we can start getting into everything. So, as you see, this ball joint here is pretty corroded. That's okay, because this is all one assembly up here. And then we need to get this tie rod, because it's got some movement back and forth. You can probably hear it there. The lower ball joint is very corroded as well. I don't know if you can see in the camera or not. So, but this is something that we're definitely going to be getting taken care of. Everything else under here looks really good. CV axle looks like it's in good shape. You know, it's not throwing anything anywhere. Looks like an old one was in here throwing some stuff around. But yeah. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with disassembling this bolt, which should have a it has a castle nut, so it should have a cotter pin going through there, and it doesn't. That's kind of scary. I've been driving on that. And then we've got another bolt down here with another cotter pin. So we got to get that pulled off. Basically smash this piece with the hammer, and that should pop this ball joint out of here. I think we might have to take the CV axle out in order to get to that lower ball joint. So that's all good. Okay, so first issue that I've ran into, I don't have a CV bolt or CV socket, so I'm gonna have to run down and get one of these from O'Reilly's. I'm gonna Google what size this is. I mean, it looks like an inch and I don't know, inch and something. So we'll Google this, see what size this is. I gotta run down to O'Reilly's because we gotta pull this nut here so we can pull this whole assembly off of the CV axle and get in to get that ball joint right there, because there's no way we can pop it out or back in because the CV axle is in the way. So we need to get that whole assembly out of the way. So I'm going to run down to O'Reilly's, take the Harley down there, and I'll be back. Alright team, we're back from O'Reilly's. It is actually a 36 millimeter. That fit's on there pretty good. So what we need to do is we just need to open up this little push-in piece right here on the CV bolt. Or nut, CV nut. We got to open that up so that it can spin. So I just use a flathead screwdriver to pry that up. And we should be able to use a breaker bar on this 36 millimeter here to get that off. Okay, after a lot of very sketchy things in order to get that CV nut off, we got her. She is off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the nut here, and we're going to remove the nut here. Basically everything that is holding this attachment into place, we're going to remove just to get this whole assembly out of the way so we can get in here and work, get the ball joints and stuff off. We will probably be removing the caliper so that way all these lines can stay in place. This is the ABS sensor here, I'm pretty sure, or it might be a speed sensor. Either way, we're going to remove this from the assembly just so we pull everything out. Okay, so we got the assembly out. It was just a 14 millimeter nut on the end of the tie rod. There was a 17 on the bottom of this ball joint. So there, 17 there, and then on mine it was a 15 up here. So you could tell that these are done. So yeah, grease just popped out of it. Okay, cool. So we got that out. Now comes the fun part. We got to press the ball joint out of this, press the new one in. This one shouldn't be too bad because I actually got brand new ones of these. So we're just going to unbolt these from the inside of the engine. There's a bolt that goes through here and a bolt on the back side, and this whole assembly will come right out. We got to get the inner and outer tie rods out. These are shot. This guy here has a lot of metallic flaking on it, so I'm going to clean that up before we put that back in. But I just leave the bolts in everything so that way I don't lose any of them. I know exactly where they go. So I'm going to work on probably getting this ball joint pressed out first. I think that's going to be the most difficult piece of this whole thing. So let's get working on that. Okay, so we use the press. Got the ball joint out. This guy is pretty beat up. I had to smack it with a hammer in order to get it out the rest of the way. But the ball joint press did work to get it at least started coming out, and then I smacked it with the hammer the rest of the way out. Because I did realize that this ring here is like the exact size of the top of the ball joint. Well, I guess it's not. But where it was sitting on here wasn't allowing the actual ball joint to come through, because you can see there's a little ring in here. And this ring actually sat on the inside of this ring, not allowing it to come all the way through. But we got it out, so we're going to press the new one in now. So here's the new ball joint. I actually really like this, just looking at the build of it. It's got a grease zerk at the bottom. The one that was in it doesn't. So that's kind of nice. That way I can keep these all greased up, lubricated, and real nice. The kit that I got, they did send me pretty much everything that I need. They sent the little C-clip, which I'm not sure about that because the one that I pulled out did not have one, so I might put that one on anyways. Got this grease zerks and the cotter pin. So yeah, this is nice. Heck yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this guy pressed in, and I'll get back with you. Okay, so ghetto part 2. This tie rod was absolutely welded. So I took the the hacksaw here, and I just chopped it off because there was no way I was getting that nut and bolt off. Like those two are pretty much fused together. So we got it cut on the inside here. Now we can use the tie rod tool, which I've already got set up with the 1 5/8" piece in there. And we should be able to get right in there and be able to get this inner tie rod out, get the new ones in. Okay, we got the new inner and outer tie rods in. I still got to work on this boot a little bit, but I'm just going to leave it for now. It's about to rain. So I'm going to get rained on anyways, because I'm not even done with this side. I got to do the other side still. I still got to do this, and I just realized that the whole kit comes with this piece here as well. So these are 16 millimeter bolts. on both sides. We're gonna go ahead and rip that out now. Just basically finish up everything under here, and then we'll go inside the engine bay and get, you know, these guys all pulled out. But yeah, I just want to give you guys an update that we got that in. That tie rod tool is super awesome. It ended up being the 1 5/16 inches on there, so not the other one that I originally said. So yeah, we got that in. Like I said, I just got to work on this boot a little bit. I can't get it up over that piece back there, and the CRV is not high enough for me to get in there and kind of reach through this little space back there in order to pull everything on. So I'm just gonna skip that for now, and we're just gonna move on. I'm gonna go ahead and get these going. Okay, upper control arms out. That bad boy's replaced. Yeah, this thing definitely needed this. We've got quite a bit of wobble in there, and that's on both sides actually. So that bushing inside there is like trashed on both of them, not to mention how free this guy is. So yeah, we're gonna throw the new one in. Man, this front end is gonna be solid. Hey, sweet guys, so we got pretty much everything replaced on this front. Now I just need to put this assembly back into the whole thing. There's the new upper control arm. Everything's super solid. Little tip, you may say, oh dude, that's a little wobbly. Well, little tip for you, leave these bolts right here on loose that go in, because if you tighten them up too much, this won't move. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the whole assembly together, and then once this is together, then I'll go back inside the engine bay and tighten everything up. So let's get this thing back in and get this car, or at least this side, back together, then we'll start on the other side. Got it all back together. I forgot to video everything on the inside, but we got the CV nut torqued to 177 foot-pounds, upper A-arm ball joint torqued to 37, same with the tie rod, the outer tie rod, and I believe the lower ball joint was 77. But we got this all torqued up, got the wheel up to torque specs, which is 90. Or it's 80 for these CRVs, I'm pretty sure. So we got that bad boy torqued. Now we have a huge mess of tools that we must now move to this side and get started on this side. All right, y'all ever wanted to figure out how to deal with a pain tie rod end? Well, I'm about to show you how I do it here on CRX-Pert. Battery's already clogged. I should buy new ones anyways.
Now just stick the flathead in there and give it a whack.
Oh, there it goes. Alright, team. And that's how you take care of a fucked up fucking goddamn thing, Majigger. Team. So, we got the whole front end parts done yesterday. I totally forgot to film that. Well, film the end of it, showing how it all turned out. But here it is. So you can see this tire here is looking pretty straight. Not too bad, I mean, considering all the facts. And then we've got this one, which is clearly turned to the right. So yeah, this definitely needs an alignment, which is fine. So tomorrow we are dropping the CRV off to Jake Allen over at Marooney Honda. He is considered the Honda god when it comes to this. You know, he's a He's a super awesome vintage Honda collector. He travels all over the U.S. picking up Hondas and saving them. But he's also super good at doing alignments, especially on lowered cars. So we're going to take it to him tomorrow and get that dropped off.
I'ma get rich on you broke hoes.